Did you know that we create monthly exclusive videos for our Sin Club members? Bonus outtakes,
I don't know, Peter. Meth is a hell of a drug.
extra Sins videos,
Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
and even member-chosen Sin commentaries.
I love this kind of a sin because it's so silly.
Pick our next video and see the exclusives at patreon.com/CinemaSins, or click the link in the description below.
Spider-Man is not a parade. You do not need to stop traffic for Spider-Man.
Not being willing to spend $10 on your logo. Also, 42 seconds of opening credits. I don't care if it's the answer to life, the universe, and everything, it's altogether too many wasted seconds. Starting your Indiana Jones ripoff with the desert cliche, not to be confused with starting your meal with the dessert cliche.
The mystery of Cleopatra's third egg.
Near ovulation.
Mark Antony presented Cleopatra with 3 bejeweled eggs.
The game Bejeweled wasn't invented until 2001, and honestly, I don't even think they had computers in Cleopatra's time. Do a little research, movie. Sheesh.
Will we ever see the day in which all 3 eggs are reunited for the first time?
Movie thinks that turning this narration into docu-exposition will make me erase my narration sin. Movie is about to get a lesson in what happens when you dogpile expositional tactics. Also, is whoever was making this egg just watching this documentary on repeat? I'd think once you reach that actual construction part, you'd be done with any peripheral research. Can you imagine if I waited until I watched these movies to research the sins? Research. 3D printing, blow torching, smelting, excitement, putting the caramel filling outside the egg. Cadbury's gonna fire you so fast. Will noticing red note denote readiness to read notice of red notice is red notice? No, 'tis reading. Rome! These cars put civilian lives in danger by blowing through a crowded intersection and driving this fast down a crowded bridge. And then, when they arrive, they exit the vehicle all chill, like they're walking the red carpet at the Oscars. Thus ends the only time in recorded history this movie was mentioned in the same breath as the Oscars.
You're not a cop.
You're right, I'm not.
Have they just sat in silence the entire ride over here? Why did the car exiting and collar popping prompt this line of questioning?
You need to shut the museum down, evacuate your visitors, and seal all ingress and egress points immediately.
And Interpol has the authority to compel me to do so?
Of course she's gonna say yes to this. She's hardly a reliable source of information. This is like catching the child you're sitting, shoving crayons into the power outlets, and asking them if their parents gave them permission to do so.
Don't test me, Director.
She either has the authority to do this or she doesn't. And if she does, sharing that proof will get this over with a lot quicker than this don't test me dick measuring BS.
You don't look like a profiler.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Profiler profiling. Also, thank God the movie addresses the fact that Dwayne Johnson has huge muscles. Not sure I would have been able to stay fully invested in this adventure without that very important acknowledgement.
Now, if you'll excuse me, Spectre, I believe I owe your supervisor a call.
For what? What are you going to tell them? That Dawes has been doing her job and that you apologize for being a needlessly obstructive asshole?
Show it to me.
Sure, Mr. Guy, we just met and have shown immediate strong distrust of. Here's our security tablet. Just take a gander and let us know if you need anything else. Also, having the security tablet available with the thermal scans already pulled up.
That egg should be reflecting the heat in this room. It should be red, not blue.
It's probably just an error in the thermal sensor.
You, dude, you know that is some BS. What are the odds that an error that specific turns up during a suspected theft? Also, isn't a faulty thermal sensor even more f***ing worrying? This product placement is very confusing because I can't decide if it's for Coke or Pepsi. I feel like it's Pepsi.
It's headed for the exit!
You don't f***ing say. The only reason that The Rock stops at these bars is because the script needs him to. There will be many cases throughout the rest of this movie that he will show athletic prowess far beyond the simple idea of doing a pull-up and swinging his legs through here. The dude jumped from a crane into a building 50 feet away on a prosthetic leg, for Pete's sake. Pointing out your own directions to yourself on your conveniently appearing map. I am not sure if it's more silly that there is a single pin that causes this entire scaffolding to fall down, or that it waited a few seconds for Deadpool to get out of the way first.
Somewhere there's a very nude cow whispering, "Worth it."
Thinking skinning something makes it nude instead of dead. Their Uncanny Valley CG stunt doubles survive this. Thinking your clip-on tie is worth the same as a Honda motorbike. Probably get 3 of those bikes for that tie. Bali! Also, 56 hours later? Are you kidding me right now? You couldn't just say 2 days later? Especially considering there's a 7-hour time difference and we had no idea what time the Great Egg Escape was even happening. And now you want me to have to figure out how many times 24 goes into 56 instead of enjoying that beautiful Bali sunrise or sunset or whatever the time of day it is. You, movie, and the long division you rode in on. Believing this boat could hold more than 2 people.
Good thing these guys aren't.
Timing your raid to a softly spoken, witty one-liner, or even a non-witty one in this case.
Given your escape history, what are you, 6 for 6 now?
Yep, one more, I get a Shawshank jacket.
Look, I really don't want to take a sin off for this terrible movie, but Ryan Reynolds is freaking charming as hell. And damn it, I'm holding my nose and doing this, but don't expect it again. Ginsturbation.
I'm not done yet. I'm just getting to the good part.
Is it another 30 seconds of forced exposition? Please tell me it's another 30 seconds of forced exposition. We eventually learn that Hartley is working with Bishop. So what's up with this double take here? Who's he trying to convince other than the audience, who he should certainly not know is watching? I guess I won't be needing this anymore. Rome! Also fun. Their random hour advancements are going to be a running gag. Well, you screwed up this time, movie. It's 7 hours earlier in Rome than Bali, so 32 hours later would only actually be 25 hours later on the clock. There's no way this is the same time of day as this.
But then I asked myself, how well do you really know someone you only met 72 hours ago?
I believe you mean 88 hours ago. Boom! You played yourself, movie.
So I called up the assistant director of the BAU at Quantico. Really nice lady. She'd never heard of you.
You only did this after you handed him the priceless egg for safekeeping? I think this is kind of on you, Interpol person character.
Quite a coincidence, wouldn't you say, Agent?
This is the second time Interpol has stormed in with guns on command, and this time I'll just sin that Interpol isn't even a police force. They just advise police forces, and also don't have guns. See, that's the problem with destroying and leaving behind evidence as an unnecessary flourish. You missed the obvious clue that the thief left behind as a calling card. Happens every time. Russia! Also, Russia is 17 million square miles. You're barely narrowing it down from just saying Earth. I swear if one of these cells is holding Harley Quinn, Penguin, or the goddamn Joker, I'm gonna lose my frickin' shit. This bread is in a cup.
Sotto voce. I know all about this guy.
Good, I was starting to worry the movie was done with these long, boring expositional vomit fests. Glad the tradition continues.
Dr. Shirtless has in his possession...
Wait, is one guy, no girl, and no pizza place somehow watching his own narrow-expositional flashback?
If you ever pull any shit like that again.
Why would he need to pull it again? The rock's out of the bag now, and everyone knows he's a cop. What else can Booth do? Tell everyone Hartley enjoys wearing spandex?
Wow. You're the captain?
That's racist.
You might benefit from a little career change.
You do, the DCEU lives. Snyder, Snyder, Snyder.
You can't name one time in the past year that you beat me.
She will, of course, go on to name multiple times in the past year that she categorically beat him. This means he's either deluded or thinks she won't call him on his BS. And what does he gain from that, other than looking dumber than a rock?
I do not know where the third egg is, I swear to God.
What recording app connects to a profile photo? And who would even take the time to upload one, aside from overeager prop masters, of course?
I mean, put her in prison for life. And when that happens, guess who becomes the #1 art thief in the world again?
Technically, still her. This just makes her the #1 art thief in the world who also happens to be in prison.
Teamwork feels weird in my mouth.
Then you may be doing the teamwork wrong. Or right, for that matter.
Say what you will about Russian prisons, but the soap was incredible.
This shower scene solely exists for Free Guy to get off a prison soap joke. I mean, at least it's not the prison soap joke you were expecting, but it's still the only reason this scene is even in the movie. And yes, I'm well aware that the soap plays a role in the escape later. But everything here is explained again there, and I can't believe anybody would be pedantic enough to be like, movie didn't reveal how soap was acquired, ding! Can you imagine?
Why are you wearing the hairnet? You're bald.
Booth would be the bishop at CinemaSins.
What's the plan?
I'm working on it.
You're working on it, huh? You sound like you're working on it.
Does Hartley's brain make noises when he works on things?
Short version, my father was a prolific asshole.
Son?
Long version?
When I was 8 years old.
Skip!
Doesn't matter what you do. It only matters what they think you've done.
CinemaSins!
How about your old man?
I don't talk about him.
I get the sense this movie is actually making an attempt at doing some thematic work, but considering the well it's going to is the well-worn dads am I right trope, I kindly request that we get back to snarky one-liners, please.
Create a distraction.
With soap.
I know there was soap in the showers, but how did they steal it? Movie didn't reveal how soap was acquired. Ding!
You know what happens when you mix soap, which is pure glycerin, with a cleaning solution that's essentially nitric acid?
You get nitroglycerin.
I can't confidently say that this wouldn't work, so I'm going to sin the fact that Booth could have easily killed Hartley by not giving him more than 5 seconds of warning that this was the damn plan. Also murder. These guards are literally just doing their jobs, yet Hartley just squashed this guy's head in a clothes press steamer thing. Yes, he's only pretending to be a cop, but that pretense should at least come with a passing regard for human life. Unplanned synchronized guard fighting.
Step 2, plan ahead.
Where'd you get that?
Why are these things always hanging off random guards' belts in full sight of any wannabe escapee? I mean, it's usually a moot point due to the magical nature of movie pickpocketing, but this thing looks like it was clinging to the guard by nothing more than a very weak magnet and the plot itself. We are expected to believe that Booth mentally Tetrised this wall as they were building it so that this exact stone would bring down the entire thing. If it's that fragile, wouldn't it have been easier to just get the Pandari pounder over here to push it down? This guard shoots the wooden plank apart through the door, but somehow manages to not put any holes in the door. This plan is dumb. This is the most ridiculous snowball ever snowball. First of all, you can tell that this snow isn't packing snow. As he slides his hand across, you can tell by the way it floats off into the air. The best this snow is doing is stopping an inch in front of your hand and then falling slowly to the ground as individual flakes. Second, have you ever tried to make a snowball in one hand? Best case scenario will be golf ball size. There's just not enough space in a single palm. And third, even if it is packing snow and you have two hands, it takes at least a few minutes to pack it and melt it together enough to achieve any kind of throwing distance. There's literally no way to make a snowball this fast. Reynolds pulling down his pants and immediately something about marrying into the guard's face would be more realistic than this snowball. And probably a better movie. Nope. Still nope. London!
And it's so rare in my line of work to find someone who's just there to listen.
This Gal Gadot tries to be funnies on for some time.
Because the moment I trust someone, they tap the foot alarm beneath their desk.
Fortunately for her, however, this silent alarm only summons one guard at a time, and an order of incompetence. Also, why is the foot alarm positioned on this side of the desk? He barely had to move his foot from where he is sitting, which means he would have had to Mr. Fantastic his foot to have been able to reach it from where he should be sitting.
I want you to remember one critically important thing.
Does he think she's gonna kiss him? What is this scene?
And I also know your browser history.
I can't believe how often the browser history threat works. I'm not saying it would work on me too, I'm just saying I know how to incognito.
I can't thank you enough for this.
I'm just glad I could finally repay my debt to you.
How did Booth manage to get in touch with Tomboué so quickly? And was Tomboué just hanging around waiting for this favor to be called in? It's not impossible, but this feels like a very shaky part of an otherwise... Actually, this entire plan is some shaky, overly convenient, non-planny BS. Littering! That's fruit juice, man. That shit stains.
You go to the egg room. Well, that's locked and heavily guarded.
My college girlfriend's egg room was also often locked and heavily guarded. Likely because I kept referring to it as her egg room.
Once they're on the move, you only have 45 seconds until they land.
A window of time that could have been easily closed by employing 2 extra guards that are always en route to the next stop, or by only rotating 1 guard at a time so that a door is never left unattended. When will these millionaires learn that it is always the guard rotation that screws them in these heists?
But so does some pretty kick-ass deepfake technology.
Really? A flat-screen deepfake is going to trick a bioscan that is clearly looking for retinal and 3-dimensional imaging? The easy button called. It wants you to be better.
If you have more than 12 images on the internet, I can send your mom a video of you mouth-sexing a goat.
Wouldn't it be easier to just send her the original? Valencia!
We've got a party crasher.
Stop giving away your supposedly covert in-ear comms by poking them every time you talk. Movie thinks that adding this completely chemistry-free dance to this 4 minutes of necessary story work will maintain my interest. Movie is wrong.
We needed to get his phone.
Don't worry. I got it.
Bullshit, you got it. Unless that bump activated a fucking transporter beam. Also, how is it that people in movies never know their phone is missing? I don't even have security apps to control my top secret safe on my phone, and I'm checking my pocket for it every 3.7 seconds. What if he has a BeatStar box to open?
1,000 apologies.
I don't need your apologies. I need a washroom.
Taken?
Isn't it more likely that Booth would be sent away and a new server would be asked to look after Hartley? Why would you send your volatile guest away with the server that just pissed him off? You have a thumb drive that immediately accesses the entire security system, can see guard movements, and replaces your footage with a recording seamlessly and instantaneously. But when it comes to the safe, you need to steal the phone to get the code. When movies need technology to be magic, it is. But when movies need forced tension, all of a sudden, technology isn't up to the task.
A mí me parece extraño, voy a llamar de todas maneras.
No seas idiota. ¿Lees tú muchas novelas de espías?
There's no f***ing way they could have planned for this set of circumstances. This relies on an incompetent guard convincing a semi-vigilant guard to not call something suspicious in, and both of them turning around as the screen flickers. This should have been game over, man. These guards don't hear Hartley and Booth's footsteps or the carelessly loud shutting of this door.
Gotcha.
Fauche's thumbprint should not have survived this.
We're not friends.
Work-wise.
We're not work-wise.
I'm not sure the chemistry works well enough to be married. There are a couple of times that these two play well off of each other, but for the most part, they have different types of charisma that seem to mismatch. I'm just saying this work-wife shtick isn't going in the Rock and Troll Hall of Fame.
You know, there was an easier way in, but I doubt very much that you could have managed it.
So, not easier then?
Arrest me.
Taking your hair down like a badass, even though it's a significant vulnerability in hand-to-hand combat cliche. They've been aware of the vault break-in for over 5 minutes, and he's just now hearing about it?
You can't ever tell anybody about this. Never tell anybody, I promise.
Perpetuating the myth that being bested by a talented and well-trained woman is something to be embarrassed by. If Gal Gadot kicked my ass, I'd be bragging about that shit.
No one will hear your screams.
That's called foreshadowing.
No, that's called monologuing. Foreshadowing is much more subtle. if the movie started at a Chicago Bulls game and they couldn't hear anything over the cheering, that might be foreshadowing. But this is just saying something you're about to immediately do. If I said, I'm going to sin you now, and then gave you a sin, that's not foreshadowing. But giving you 4 sins for it just might be.
There's a hidden chamber in the Great Pyramid. LiDAR discovered it about a year ago.
Considering LiDAR basically bounces laser light off solid objects to scan distance and texture, I'm not exactly sure how it would scan anything inside a pyramid. I guess it's true what they say. Lighter, pants on fighter, or something.
The third egg never left Egypt.
He's not lying.
Except that he is lying, and she knows that he's lying because she ends up following him to the egg's actual location instead of Egypt, which leads me to ask, what was the point of any of this? Why not just let Hartley and Booth escape back at Voce's house and follow them from there? Doesn't even matter if she lets them get away with the second egg because Hartley is on her team.
No, you hit! No, surprisingly not.
What is impossible?
Movie believes that acknowledging its own convenient bullshit will make the convenience of said bullshit acceptable. It does not.
I lied to you, I lied to her, I lied to baby Jesus.
Lying to baby Jesus. At least wait until he's adolescent Jesus to start that shit. Oh, come on. I've seen Jackass. I know what kind of damage that does. I'm not buying any of the bullshit. Also, this bull and the Colosseum background look faker than... let me just check my notes here. Scorpion Rock in The Mummy? No, use that. The entirety of the Star Wars Holiday Special? No, not quite that bad. Oh, Henry Cavill's top lip in Justice League. Perfect.
My dad was a crook.
Rock, paper, skippers.
We really got some dads, huh? It's a miracle we're not both strippers.
That's stripperist.
Look, your dad was a cop, so you became a crook. My dad was a crook, so I became a cop.
Hey, did you guys in the back row get that? It's clever, because they have things in common. Also, Booth's dad may well have been a cop, but that's not really the reason he became a crook. Actually, we haven't got a clue why he is the way he is. All we know is that he was accused of stealing, given the silent treatment for a year, and then sent off to boarding school. Could have just as easily ended up a wizard based on that backstory.
April 1945.
Well, I did not see that coming. I've just about had it with these Hitler tropes. The line must be drawn here. This far, no further. Argentina.
Booth, you've had me traveling for 3 days and hiking in circles for 8 hours.
And yet the movie refused to give an 80 hours later graphic. Slackers. Whistling your references as if that will absolve you of your sins. Sorry, Ryan. Only the penitent man shall pass.
How are we gonna find this egg?
Thinking like a sperm.
And you led me right to the third egg, which I'm going to take from you now.
Oh, great. Another third egg conflict cliche.
How'd she find us?
I followed you. She must have followed me.
No
Why are you wasting the runtime of this already bloated movie with this pointless question? I mean, what kind of an asshole would go through the effort of asking they already know the answer to?
We take that.
I don't think that's gonna make it up the stairs.
Also, it's been 75 years, so the battery would be shot, the gasoline would be degraded, and the tires would probably be flat. There's no way it will start up into... Well... And the convenience chase vehicles also start up right away, because why the hell not, really? Very nice of that waterfall to part a bit so she could see the car sink when just seconds earlier it was a solid sheet of water. Didn't know water could read scripts, but here we are.
I don't have to win in order for you to lose.
U.S. politics. My favorite part of big movie twists is when they make every single part of the movie worse. This twist not only ruins the story and plot with multiple times where Gal and Pal could have stayed out of danger and still gotten what they needed, but it also completely neuters the entire thematic good guy, bad guy stuff that the movie had been playing with pretty well. This is a twist just so the movie can say, gotcha, and that's simply not enough.
Hold on, let's just rewind for 1 second here.
No! There will be no rewinding. We're done. Finished. Moving on. The notices have all been read, or noticed. My point is, if you're going to threaten me with rewinding, I'm finishing this right now. Caro! Sardinia! Sequel?
One of those egg council creeps got to you too, huh?
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
What are you doing with that?
I was just admiring it. I got a bunch of these fancy pants eggs back at home in my mansion. This one's ugly.
Goss, look at me. Look at my eyes.
I'm the captain now.
So how's that work? No one knows where the third egg is. It's never been found.
Finally, the Red Guardian's time has come.
When I was 8 years old, my dad thought I stole his watch.
5 long years he wore this watch up his ass.
We've got a party crasher.
Stop touching your ear.
Can you try and reach my left jacket pocket? What am I looking for? My lucky charm.
Tell me, what does the map say?
I'm the man!